Shalam. Brothers united in Christ, we're back with this word because this thing is needed, right? What we trying to do, we want to exalt the name of the Most High in the earth. We want to lift our people up. And we want to put the truth back out there because it's just a lot of lies going in the earth, right? Because even like today, it's supposed to be the new year, right? Get the Exodus 12:1. But this is the new year that we acknowledge, out of the Bible. We're not going to just follow what other people do. We're going to follow what the Lord showed us, right? Read what you got.
This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. Right. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Right. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month.
Good. I just wanted to bring out the fact that, the Bible is saying the new year is in a bib. It's in the spring where things come back to life. When the flowers start to bud and the trees start to grow again, that's the new year. The new year is not in the middle of winter where everything is dead. You know what I mean? And the days are short in these things, right? But we're going to go back into the lesson, right? The 2 Peter. Read that from 1. Read that 1 down to 6. Right? On this side, hold Proverbs 8 and 12. Yeah. No, 2 Peter's. Read it 1 down to 6.
This is 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 1. Simon Peter, a servant and an apostle of Yahushua Christ, to them that have obtained like precious faith with us, through the righteousness of the Most High and our Savior, Yahushua Christ.
Yeah, and this is what it's for. Like, this is for brothers and sisters that believe like we believe. Not everybody's going to accept these things. Not everybody's going to like these things. But we're going to put these things out to the brothers and sisters that got the same faith that we do, right? Read on.
Grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of the Most High and of Yahushua our Lord.
And that's how the Lord set it up. The Lord say the more knowledge that you get of the Most High, the more grace and peace you're going to have in your life. Right? Read on.
According as his divine power hath given us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us to glory and virtue.
Yeah, so you don't have to go through life in darkness. You don't have to go through life in confusion. You don't have to guess. You don't have to doubt. You don't have to do any of those things. Because the Lord gave us everything that we need for life and to be righteous before him. Right? Read on.
Whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these you might be partakers of the divine nature, right, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust.
Yeah, and the Lord, he's given us plenty promises, right? And plenty prophecies and plenty blessings that we can have. But the Lord's saying the only way we're going to be able to obtain these promises, the only way we're going to be able to be a partaker of the divine nature is if we escape the corruption that's in the world, right? Read on.
And besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, right, and to virtue knowledge, right, and to knowledge temperance, right, and to temperance patience, right, and to patience godliness.
Yeah, so the Lord said you got to have all these things. If you're professing professing yourself to be a man of the Most High, or you're professing yourself to be righteous, the Lord said you got to have these attributes. You got to have all these things in your character, right? Matter of fact, hold what you got, right? Read the Wisdom of Solomon 8. Read that 6 to 8. Yeah, because you can't just say that you're righteous in these things. The Lord say you got to have some things to show, right? You got to have some virtue. You got to have some morals. You got to have some knowledge. You got to have some faith, some patience, and all these things, right? Read what you got.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6. And if prudence work, who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she?
Yeah, and it's asking it like a question because prudence does work. So the Lord is saying if you're a prudent brother or sister, if you're a wise brother or sister, these things are going to work for you if you use them, right? If you put these things to the test, right? Read on.
Verse 7. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, right, for she teacheth temperance and prudence. Right. justice, and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life.
Yeah, the Lord said you need these qualities. You need these characteristics in your life so you could govern and make all the right decisions and balance everything out in your life. Right? Read one more verse.
If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old.
Yeah, if you in the earth, and you're trying to make decisions, and you don't know what to do, you could fall back on what our forefathers did. You could see where our forefathers went off, and you could use those things today to make your choices, to make your decisions. Right? Read on.
If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old,
Right?
and conjureth aright what is to come.
Conjureth is like, is you could see something happen before it happened. Because you're using wisdom, you're using knowledge, and you're using understanding, you're using the information before you. You're checking out, you're paying attention to what's going on in the world. So you get to a point where you could kind of see things happen before they even happen, right? Through wisdom, right? Read on.
She knoweth the subtleties of speeches and can expound dark sentences.
Yeah, and you could break brothers and sisters down. Some people, they come to you with games, they come to you with lies, they try to trick you and all these things. The Lord's saying you're going to be able to break those things down, right? Read on.
She foreseeth signs and wonders in the events of seasons and times.
Yeah, and she give you the breakdown for the seasons, the times. Like how we said, we know that the new year is in the spring and all these things. We know it's only 2 seasons, summer and winter and all these things. We get this through the wisdom the Lord gave us, right? So we digging into prudence right now, right? Read what you got.
This is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
Yeah, these things, like when you go through the scriptures and you're reading all these scriptures about prudence, it's almost no difference between prudence and wisdom. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. To be prudent, you got to have wisdom, right? Read that again.
Proverbs 8 and 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence,
Right.
and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
And like we were just reading the wisdom of Solomon, these things, they're going to leave you so that you're not lost. You're going to be able to break down witty inventions. What's a witty invention? An invention is anything that's fabricated or that's made by a man. You know, any game, any trickery. The Lord said you're going to be able to find out witty. You're going to be able to break these things. You're going to be able to see through the lies. Right? Read that one more time.
I, wisdom, dwell with prudence,
Right.
and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
Yeah, but you got to get wisdom. You got to get prudence, right? And then you're going to be able to see through the lies, right? On this side, let me get this. Let me get Proverbs 16 and 21. On this side, let me get Proverbs 14, 8, Proverbs 14 and 15. So like a dictionary definition of prudence is to be able to make a decision based on the knowledge and wisdom and understanding you have and all that the information that's around you in the particular circumstance, you know, in the particular time. And by all these things, you're able to make a judgment, right? By using wisdom, by using knowledge, by using understanding, you're able to make a good, you know, the best choice you can, the best decision you can. And that's what prudence is, right? Read what you got.
This is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 21. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning.
Yeah, the wise in heart is going to be called prudence because, like I said, they go together. You can't have one without the other, right? It's hard to make a good decision if you don't have, enough wisdom to make that decision or enough information to make that decision, right? Read that again, Art.
Verse 21. The wise in heart shall be called prudent,
Right.
and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning.
Yeah, so you got to get learning. You got to learn these laws, commandments, and statutes. You got to learn these prophecies. You got to learn what Christ was teaching. You got to check out what the apostles did. You got to know all these things, right? And then now you could go and make a wise decision, right? Read that one more time, Art.
The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning.
Yeah, you got to increase your learning so that you can make the right choices, so that you can make the right decisions at the right time, right? Read what you got. Proverbs 14 and 8.
This is Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 8.
Proverbs 22 and 3.
The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way,
Right?
but the folly of fools is deceit.
Yeah, so the wisdom of the prudent is to understand your way. You need to understand your way. You need to understand who you are. You need to understand where you came from. You need to understand which way to go, right? And again, we get that through this Bible. We get that through the knowledge of our ancestors and all these things, right? Read that one more time. Out.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 8. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way,
Right.
but the folly of fools is deceit.
Yeah, because if you don't have prudence, if you don't have wisdom, you're going to fall for the folly. You're going to fall for the deceit. You're going to fall for the lies. Right, hold what you got. Give me this. Proverbs 4:17. Yeah, because if you're not making wise decisions, you're going to be making foolish decisions. It's no in between. It's nothing else. It's either one or the other, right?
4 and 28, you said?
4 and 18, 17.
This is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 17. For they eat the bread of wickedness.
No, it's not. 4:18.
4 and 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
The Lord said the path or the way of the just, the way that they walk, their lifestyle is the way it's supposed to be. Is you're supposed to get better. You're supposed to get better. You're supposed to get wiser. You're supposed to get stronger. You're supposed to do all these things, right? Read that. Read 18 and 19.
This is verse 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
Right.
The way of the wicked is as a darkness.
Right.
They know not at what they stumble.
Yeah, this is the alternative. If you're not walking in wisdom, you're walking in darkness, and you're going to be stumbling. You're going to be tripping up. You're going to be making all the wrong decisions, and you're not even going to know why. You're not going to understand your way, right? Read what you had again. The Proverbs 14 and 8.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 8. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit.
Right. Now read Proverbs 14 and 15.
This is verse 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
So again, this is the difference between the wise and the fool, right? The wise person, the foolish person, he's gonna believe everything, even if your enemy tell it to you, even if your teacher in school tell you these things, you're just gonna go with it. You're gonna run with it and believe it like it's the word of the Most High. But the prudent isn't like that. The prudent, he's gonna go and check all these things out. It don't matter if it was his mother that told him, his brother, his best friend. He's gonna go back and check these things to see if that's what it really is, right? Read that again, Ak.
This is verse 15. Proverbs chapter 14 and 15. The simple believeth every word,
Right.
but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
Yeah, you gotta look well to your going, right? And again, we're gonna do this by utilizing the wisdom that the Lord gave us, right? Read what you got, Ak.
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
Right? Praise the Lord. Because like even this word, like when I was checking out this word prudence, it's a Latin word, right? And it means prudentia or whatever, right? And the word itself, it means to foresee or to have foresight. And again, like I was saying before, it's like by using wisdom and understand, you could kind of see what's going to happen before it happens. So that's what the Lord is saying here, right? Read it again.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Yeah, and an example of that is what's going on now with the jab. Like people, they believe these things. They don't check these things out. They rush because of fear. They're not using wisdom and all these things. They're running off their emotions. They just don't want to get sick. And they just run and do things and make bad decisions and bad choices. Right? Read that again, Ak.
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself,
Right.
but the simple pass on and are punished.
Yeah, so again, I'm using this jab for an example. Like, we see that they at first they was being all, offering pizza. If you get this pizza, we'll give you a free jab, or we'll put your name in a raffle and you could win money. Just come and take this jab. But now we kind of see that it's changing. We see that they're not going to be doing those type of things now. Now they're going to try and force it. Now they're going to try and put in mandates coming in the new year and all these things. And they're going to try and force us to do these things. So we got to be prudent and see these things coming before they happen, and set plans and try to, hide ourselves from these things. Right? Read that one more time, Mark.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself,
Right.
but the simple pass on and are punished.
Yeah, they don't pay attention. They just keep moving, not considering things, and then they bump their head up against the wall. Right? Let me get this. Let me get Ecclesiasticus 19 to 22. On this side, let me get Luke 14. Let me get that 28 down to 32. Right, we're digging into prudence because it's a virtue that a righteous or brother sister should have. Right? Luke 14, 28 to 32. Read what you got.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 19 and verse 22. The wisdom of wickedness is not wisdom. I'm sorry. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Right?
Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence.
Yeah, so at no point in time, like I was reading before, like, we should fall back on these laws, commandments, and statutes, fall back on the things our ancestors did and all that. We fall back on that for counsel. But the Lord's saying at no point in time should you take counsel from a sinner or make your choices in your life or the decisions in your life because of what you see sinners do or people that's against the Lord. The Lord say, don't move with them, right? Read that again.
Ecclesiasticus 19 and 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Right.
Neither at any time the counsels of sinners prudence.
Yeah, the counsel of sinners, it could never be wisdom. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what the time is, the counsel of sinners could never be considered prudent. And knowledge of evil and knowledge of wickedness is not knowledge. You know what I mean? So what, you know how to steal a car, you know how to hide, break into a car and turn it on and steal and all these things. So what, you know how to season up pork and fry it and make it taste real good. The Lord's saying knowledge of wickedness is not knowledge. It's not right knowledge, huh? It's not wisdom, right? It's not good, right? Read what you got. This is an example of prudence, right? Out of Luke 14. Read what you got, Art.
This is Luke chapter 14, verse 28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?
Right.
Lest happily after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish.
Yeah, so this is just a good example of prudence because the brother, before he go and build the tower, he's going to consider how much it's going to cost, how much material, how much foundation. He's going to consider all these things before he go and he go build his tower. Because what's the alternative? You're going to start building and you're not going to be able to finish your work, right? Read that one more time, Mark.
This is verse 28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost,
Right.
whether he have sufficient to finish it?
Right.
Lest happily after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish.
Read on.
Or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000?
Right, it's an example of prudence. Before you go to war, you want to make sure you got the numbers. You want to make sure you got the artillery. You want to make sure you got the ammunition before you go to war. You check these things out. The Lord said, "This is prudence." Right? Read that again. Art.
Or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000?
Right.
Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassador. He sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace.
Yeah, because if you're not prepared for the war, you don't think these out before you go to war, you're going to be waving the white flag, right, before the war even start, right? So the Lord said you need to use prudence, right, in everything you do, right? Come back to the Wisdom of Solomon, read 8 and 7. Matter of fact, come back to the First Peter's, read 5 and 6. You get me the Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7.
This is 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 5. And besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue,
Right.
and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance,
Right.
and to temperance patience,
Right.
and to patience powerliness.
Right. Yeah, so these are just qualities that a brother and sister that's locked into the Most High, that's locked into Christ, you need to have these attributes, right? Read what you got, Art.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 7. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues. For she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude. which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life.
Right? So get me on this side, Leviticus 19, 35 to 37. So we're going to dig into justice now. What is justice? Right? Justice is equity. It's equality. You know what I mean? It's fairness. It's right. Justice is when you do good and it come back to you in these things, right? Right? The Lord say we got to have justice, right? We got to know what this thing is and we got to use it. Right? You got the Leviticus 19:35, right? On this side, get me the get me Jeremiah 22, 13 to 16. What you got?
This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 35. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment,
Right?
in meat yard, in weight, or in measure.
Yeah, this is what the Lord requires. The Lord say that we shouldn't do no Read that again.
Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
Yeah, you should do no unrighteousness in judgment. He's talking about measurements here and weights and all these things, but these things apply to your life too because the symbol, I mean, it's not even in the scriptures, but the symbol they use for justice in the court, they always got this blind woman and she holding a scale or whatever in these things. So the Lord is saying that you want to have a just weight, you want to have a just balance. Your righteousness, it got to balance out more than your wickedness, right? You got to have a just balance, right? Read that again, Ak.
This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 35. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment,
Right.
in meat yard, in weight, or in measure.
You know what? Hold what you got. Give me the Ecclesiasticus 27:1. Because this is a problem when brothers and sisters, they got their own businesses and all these things. Like they always, not everybody. Some brothers, they run businesses and they got a righteous business. But most people, they always try to get over on somebody. You know what I mean? They wanna give them shorts. You know what I mean? And charge them high prices in these things, right? Read what you got. 1 and 2.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 27, verse 1. Many have sinned for a small matter,
Right.
and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away.
Yeah, the Lord say you gotta watch. You gotta be careful, especially when you got your own business and you buying and selling these things. You gotta be careful because a lot of people just for the money, just to get that abundance, they're gonna turn their eyes away from justice, from righteousness, right? From dealing in equality in these things, right? Read on.
As a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling.
The Lord says it's a tightrope to walk. You know when you got a business in these things, right? But through these scriptures, if you do, you know what I mean, got your own business and all these things, the Lord say you got to be careful. You know what I mean? You want to have a just balance. You want to have a just measure. You want to have a just meat and all these things. So you're not, doing people wrong or ripping them off, right? Go back to where you was.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 35. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment,
Right.
in meat yard, in weight, or in measure.
Right.
Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am the Lord.
So this is how you keep a just balance. This is how you keep yourself from not, having a wicked business and all these things. Just do what the Lord say do. Follow his laws, his statutes, and commandments. Right? Read what you got on this side.
This is Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness.
Right? And this is talking about a king in Israel, one of the sons of Josiah, I believe, that turned wicked. But this applies to anybody that's dealing unjustly or dealing in iniquity, right? Because iniquity, that's the complete opposite of justice. It's to be, iniquity, to be unequal, right? To do people wrong, right? Read on.
Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong.
Yeah, and when you look at America, that's how America was set up. America was built on injustice. It was built on other men's land. It was built with other men's labor, and they were never rewarded or credited. And the Lord's saying destruction is going to happen to people that deal like this, right? Read that again, Ak.
Jeremiah 22 and 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness,
Right,
and his chambers by wrong.
right.
that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work.
And again, that's what happened here in America. The slaves, they built the railroads, they built the White House, they built all of America. Yet we get no credit for it. We got no wages for these things. We never got what they call reparations. We never got no reparations in these things, right? Read on.
Verse 14. That saith, I will build me a wide house, and large chambers, and cutteth him out windows, and it is sealed with cedar, and painted with vermilion. Shall thou reign because thou closest thyself in cedar?
This is what some people think. Some people think if I build a strong city, if I build a strong house, nobody's going to be able to break in. Nobody's going to be able to deal with me. Nobody's going to be able to stop me because I'm locked in. I'm surrounded. I'm in between sealed walls and these things. Right? Read on.
Shall thou reign because thou closest thyself in cedar? Did not thy father eat and drink and do judgment and justice, and then it was well with him?
Yeah, so the Lord's saying, check out our forefathers. We didn't reign, we didn't rule and have our own kingdom and rule amongst our own people just because we had strong buildings and a strong city and a wall around our city. The Lord's saying the reason why we were able to be reigned and to be lifted up, it was because of the justice, because of the righteousness. Right? Read that one more time, Mark.
This is verse 15. Shall thou reign because thou closest thyself in cedar?
Right.
Did not thy father eat and drink and do justice and judgment, and then it was well with him?
It was well with them when they were living righteously, when they were following the ways of the Most High, right? When they were executing right judgment, right? Read on.
He judged the cause of the poor and needy. Then it was well with him.
Yeah, you got to judge the cause of the poor and the needy. You can't be inconsiderate of these things, right? Because those are just things to take care of the widow, to look out for the poor and all these things. All these things are right in the eyes of the Lord, right? Read down.
He judged the cause of the poor and needy. Then it was well with him.
Down to 16.
Was not this to me, saith the Lord? I mean, was not this to know me, saith the Lord?
Yeah, man, that's what justice is all about. That's what righteousness is all about, is to know the Most High. Because what better example do you have of righteousness and of justice than to know the Lord and to know his ways and to lock into the Lord and to lock in his ways and walk in his paths, right? Read what you got on this side, Out.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 18. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy power giveth thee throughout thy tribes.
So this is how it was when we were in our own land. We had judges and we had officers that would execute right judgment, that would execute, justice and all these things. But now, the world that we live in today, the judges, they're corrupt. The officers, the police officers, they're corrupt. You know what I mean? If you got enough money, you could pay them off. You could bribe them. Right? Give me this. Give me the Micah 6 and 2. Yeah, the Lord said we had righteous judges, we had righteous officers and all these things that would help withhold righteousness in our kingdom, in our city and all these things. But now we don't got that. All the judges, they corrupt. All the officers, they're off, right? They're wicked, right? Read what you got.
This is Micah chapter 6, verse 2. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy.
Micah 6 and 2. Micah.
Oh, my bad. Oh, well, this is Micah.
6. 6, chapter 6.
This is 6.
Is that chapter 6?
Yeah. This is 7.
My fault, 7 and 2.
Yeah, you're right. This is Micah chapter 7, verse 2. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood.
Right.
They hunt every man his brother with a net.
Yeah, so it's no more justice, it's no more equity, it's no more equality, it's none of these things. Everybody's trying to get over on the next brother. Everybody's trying to do the next brother wrong. Right? Read on.
This is verse 3. That they may do evil with both hands earnestly.
Right.
The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward.
Right.
And the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire.
Yeah, the Lord said that the judge asketh, the mighty men asketh, right? They taking bribes. They taking to look the other way. You know what I mean? You could be a criminal and all these things, be about to be sentenced and all that, and the judge will look the other way if you got enough money. right? They don't execute justice, right? Read that again.
That they may do evil with both hands earnestly.
Right,
The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward,
right,
and the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire.
right.
So they wrap it up.
Yeah, so they wrap it up. They all corrupt. The judge, the cops, the police, the government, everybody's corrupt, right? There's no justice being executed in the earth, right? Finish that off, Art.
Verse 4, the best of them is as briar.
Right.
The most upright is sharper than the thorn hedge.
Yeah, they no good. The Lord said, and this is talking about our own people, is no good. The Lord said they like thorns and briars, right? Pick it up where you left off.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 18.
Read the verse that I was spinning off of. Was it 18? Good. Yeah, that's good.
Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy power giveth thee throughout thy tribes.
Right.
And they shall judge the people with just judgment.
Right.
Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons.
Yeah, the Lord said you're not supposed to arrest judgment, or you're not supposed to twist judgment. You're not supposed to pervert judgment. You're supposed to judge according to these laws, commandments, and statutes that the Most High gave us. You don't come up with your own judgment. You don't come up with your own measure. You don't come up with your own balance and all these things. You do it according to how the Lord said to do it. Right? Read out.
Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons.
Yeah, you're not supposed to respect persons. Just because a person is, they look real good or whatever, or they dress, they got all the fancy clothes on and the jewelry and all these things. You know what I mean? Just because of they family, whatever family they come from, or they might be related to you. The Lord say you're not supposed to respect, a person, right? You're supposed to execute just judgment, right? Read on out.
Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous.
Yeah, and you don't take gifts, but they do this. This is what they do on the earth. They take bribes, they take gifts, right? And then wicked people, they get off. You know what I mean? Murderers, they get off. Liars, they get off, right? Because what? Because the laws of justice that the Most High gave us, they're not being used in the earth. So it don't matter. Everybody's running wild. Everybody's running wicked, right? Tell me where you at.
This is Deuteronomy 16 and 20. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live and inherit the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee.
Yeah, man. This is how we're going to run our kingdom. This is what we're going to do when we inherit our land, right? We're going to execute judgment and justice and equity and righteousness in these things, right? The earth is not going to always be like how it is now, right? On this side, let me get Ezekiel 18. Let me get that 5 to 9. On this side, let me get Micah 6, 8 to 11. Right?
Micah chapter 6, verse 8.
That's cool. Get the Ezra 18, 5.
Ezekiel 18, 5.
No, read what you got.
This is Micah chapter 6, verse 8. He have showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee?
Yeah, the Lord gave us all these things, man. The minister, he's doing a lesson about the name of the Most High. From Genesis to Revelation, the Lord showed us all these things, what's good and what's evil, what he requires of us. All these things are right here. It's just our people, we don't use these things, right? We don't exercise these things, right? Read out.
He have showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee,
right?
But to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy power.
Right.
The Lord's voice crieth unto the city,
Right.
and the man of wisdom shall see thy name.
Yeah, man. The brother, he did a lesson about the voice of the Lord. He did a lesson about the name of the Lord. But only the righteous brothers are going to be able to see these things. Only the righteous brothers and sisters are going to be able to hear these things. The brothers and sisters that escape the corruption that's in the world. Right? Read that again, Doc.
This is verse 9. Micah chapter 6, verse 9. The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man of wisdom shall see thy name.
Right?
Hear ye the rod, and who have appointed it? Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is abominable?
Yeah, the Lord said this is what the wicked got in their house. They got the trickery. They got the game. They got the false balances, right? the wickedness in their life is outweighing the good that they do. These things are in the house of the wicked, right? Read on.
This is verse 11. Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances and with the bag of deceitful weights?
Yeah, you could never be pure as long as you're doing wrong, right? The brother was bringing out how the words of the Most High is pure. If you're not walking in these things, then the Lord is saying you can't be considered pure. You can't be considered right, right? Read down. 11, read 11.
Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances and with the bag of deceitful weights?
Yeah, you can't be pure. You got to get rid of those things, right? And get the good of your life to outweigh the evil that's going on, so you can have a just balance, right? Good there. Read what you got on this side. Ezekiel 18:5. Read it down to 9.
Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 5. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains.
This is an example of a just brother. He does what is lawful, and he does what's right. He hasn't eaten upon the mountains. He doesn't look to the other nations for their wisdom, for their holidays, for their parties and these things. He's not looking to the other nations for these things, right? He's not eating upon the mountains, right? Read on.
And have not eaten upon the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel.
This is a just brother. He's not eating upon the mountain. He's not looking to idols and these things, right? Read on.
Neither have come near to a menstruous woman,
Right.
have not oppressed any, but hath restored to the debtor his pledge.
Yeah, he don't owe nobody no money. He's not going around borrowing, banqueting on borrowing and these things. The Lord's saying this is an example of a just brother, right? Read on.
Hath spoiled none by violence, hath given his bread to the hungry,
Right.
and hath covered the naked with a garment.
Right.
He that hath not given forth upon usury.
Right.
Either-
He's not asking for more than he lends out. He's not giving you $10 and asking for $30 back, like the banking system. That's how the banking system is set up. You give them money, they loan you money, you got to pay back more money than they gave you. So now you always in debt to them, right? The Lord's saying these things are unjust, right? Read on.
He that hath not given forth upon usury, neither hath taken any increase, that he hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, hath executed true judgment between man and man.
Right.
He, hath walked in my statutes and hath kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just; he shall surely live, saith the Lord power.
Yeah, this is the brother and sister that's going to live, and he's going to live more abundantly, and he's not going to be walking in darkness in these things because he's just and he's walking justly, right? Read what you got out.
Psalms, you said 81 and 5.
82, 1 to 5.
It's the Psalms chapter 82, verse 1.
Luke 42.
The Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the powers.
Yeah, man, the Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty. The Lord, he doesn't stand amongst the wicked. He doesn't stand among the wavering and the unbelieving. It says the Lord, he standeth amongst the congregation of the brothers and sisters that believe, among the gods, right? Because we're gods with a lowercase g. Why? Because we're made in the image of the Most High, right? So we should be doing the same things the Most High do, right? And walking in the Most High's ways. The Lord said that we are gods too, right? But you're not a god if you walking unjustly and you walking wickedly and you denying the Most High, right? Read down.
How long will ye judge unrighteously? How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
Yeah,
Selah.
man. Yeah, the Lord said you can't be a just brother and you accepting wicked persons. You accepting their counsels, right? You accepting their breakdowns, right? Good. Let me finish with this one. The Luke 11:42. Give me this too. Matthew 23:23.
This is Luke chapter 11, verse 42. But woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye tithe mint and rue, and all manner of herbs, and pass over judgment, and the love of the Most High.
Yeah, the Lord's saying this is how the wicked deal. You see this in the churches today, the scribes and the Pharisees, right? They want to get all the money. They want to fleece the church. They want to do what they can do to profit and all these things, but they're not teaching the people just judgment. They're not teaching the people who they are. They're not teaching the people about the Sabbath day. They're not teaching the people righteousness, right? Finish that verse.
And these ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
Yeah, man. They looking about the money, but they not looking about getting the people right, right? So, you know what I mean? Brothers and sisters that seeking righteousness, the Lord's saying we got to have these qualities. We got to have these virtues, right? Brothers united in Christ, Shalom.